Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be playing pretty much a brand new course here on the eastern shore of Mobile Bay. For a long time, really the only courses over here were the Daphne course, which I have on this channel, the fairways of Fairhope, which is kind of built along a baseball complex, and construction at that baseball complex has kind of been chipping away at that course over time, and so it's kind of had its struggles, if we're honest. The only course we have a course now out in Loxley, and then of course Foley, the Grand Creek Nature Preserve, has 3 or 4 courses now. But this is the Colony. It's only about 10 or 15 minutes down the road from Fairways of Fairhope. It's very near the Fairhope Brewery. And it is a course that has a lot of variety. I really love this course. Lots of elevation change, some more open shots, some more wooded shots. Definitely requires a lot of different shot shapes and distances to be successful out here. And I can't wait to show it to you. Let's go take a look. All right, so hole 1, 266, basket right behind this tree in the center of the screen. Dual option. Wide right, or you can go wide left, whichever way you want. There we go.
Yeah, that's it.
266. Should be good.
That's a long ways for forehand for me.
It's a boss forehand.
It's not bad, actually.
Talking about me. It's better than mine.
Hold on, I'm gonna throw one forehand too. That should work. So threw a felon both ways, backhand and forehand on hyzer, both worked out well. So there's a basket, which you couldn't really see from the tee. That's a tree that was in the center we were throwing around. That's the right gap that they're at. This is that wide open left-hand side. So shapes really well for a righty forehand or lefty backhand, but you definitely can still play the spike hyzer over the right-hand side with a lefty forehand or righty backhand. So again, both options are there. Not too far. Pretty, I would say, easy hole to get your round started with. Not too much trouble to get into. Should be able to at least get par at minimum on this, and good chance at a birdie. So there's my 2 felons, backhand and forehand. There's also a glow envy I threw that I didn't catch on camera. It was my first throw out the car, actually. Wasn't filming yet. But even that's pin high, 25 feet for birdie, roughly. All right, so now we get to our first par 4, which is one of only 2 par 4s on the course. This is hole 2, 521. Pretty much dead straight ahead. You can see the yellow basket there on the left. Big thing with this hole, I think, is while there is a left tunnel, when you get up there, the right tunnel is way bigger. So anything that you can play that'll put you in line with that tunnel for the approach is better. So it kind of sets up nice for a flex forehand for a righty or a flex backhand for a lefty. But if you can throw something dead straight, that works too. I just think if you get 2 left, you kind of get pinched off and you have to take the skinny tunnel on the left, and that's like really tricky. It's the main thing that I've noticed on it.
He doesn't like skinny tunnels.
No. I like big, fat, wide tunnels. You know?
Whatever floats your boat.
Ooh, okay. Man of his word.
So yeah, just a good placement shot, dead center. Take the right tunnel. Oh, that gets out. Get out. Get left. Might have a little scramble opportunity there. A little low, but that's still a good spot. All right, so I'm like 235 out.
You got the low laser beam down.
Yeah, I gotta get some height on these discs. But put myself in a perfect spot and then didn't give it any height for the approach. Here's a closer look at the left tunnel. It's just way tighter and a low ceiling. You can see the branches there on the left-hand side kind of obstructing your way to the basket compared to the right-hand side tunnel, which is just wide open as long as you get enough angle on the disc and kind of skip it up there. I just threw my disc too low. All right, so now on hole 3. Literal distance is 236 feet, but this play is super uphill, so I think it plays closer to 275 to 280. It's up to the right, blind shot. I'll kind of show you the basket a little bit later, but for me, it's kind of a full blast forehand to get up there just because of the uphill nature. That's pretty good. A little inside, but that's still up there in the circle probably. will say this is like where this is like one of the worst natural tees. Like it's kind of bumpy, so it makes it a little tougher. That's really good.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck finding that. Yep.
Oh, right there.
That's the big hyzer line I was talking about. That hole over there on the right, it doesn't exist. Don't try it, trust me. So here's that left corner you could see from the tee, and that little shrub we were kind of throwing over. And there's a basket perched up on the right-hand side up there. So yeah, UDIS says 236, 240. I think it plays closer to 275 to 280, honestly, just because of how uphill it is. That's one of the things you'll notice about this course is there is a decent amount of elevation change. The first couple of holes are flat, but, well, actually the first hole was slightly downhill towards the basket. But yeah, there's a lot of elevation change here and a lot of variety, so really cool course. All right, there's my two Emperor forehands, both within the circle, so did pretty well. This big tree right here is kind of what blocks the hyzer line from happening. You usually crash into this thing and get caught up, and then you're in the junk in circle 2 or maybe even deeper from the basket, so yeah. All right, so now we're at hole 4. It's somewhere between 280 and 300 feet, but it does play a little bit downhill once you get about halfway up the fairway. Early left jail. Definitely want to push something out towards the right because there's a lot of space there, and it'll just kind of have it hyzer in towards the basket. I think it's the best play. And like I said, it plays a little shorter than what the distance says. Probably plays closer to like 260 to 270.
That's it right there.
Yeah, yellow basket to the left. Just remember, like when you're playing here, the baskets alternate color per hole. So if you played a blue basket before, you'll play a yellow basket next. It was a little confusing at first because I would have thought they would just put like the first 9 blue, the second 9 yellow, but it's kind of cool, you know, to help you navigate, to know that, hey, I'm playing an opposite color basket next. I didn't put that out wide right enough. Probably in the circle, but in the woods.
260. That was like a tax.
Well, it's 280, like literal distance.
Yeah.
Ish. Between 280 and 300. Get down and fade. Oh.
One of those things.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the one thing that can happen on this hole. But that's like the right route to take, because if you go early left, you're screwed. Cut. It's like once you get past this initial corner that Dave hit, like the space opens up. So like it gives you a pocket to kind of play something inside of and then hyzer back in. It's like something forced over that's overstable actually works out pretty well, maybe. But it's just about keeping it low enough to not hit that ceiling, which is tough. It's gonna hit the ceiling, isn't it? Yep.
Oh yeah.
Ugh. You just got to get below that and then you're golden. You're parked.
Or do that and be able to make 40-foot putts.
True. That with more turn would be great. I'm gonna try something.
On my tax.
I think that's the best bit of advice you can ever give in disc golf. Just make 40-foot putts.
You can do that. You're golden.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that was gonna happen. I don't even know why I thought anything different would happen than that. Like, oh, I'm gonna throw it high over the top of this big tree and it land inside of it. So here's that pocket I was kind of talking about on the right-hand side of the fairway. You can flex something inside of it and have it fade out of it. So something low, straight to overstable that kind of turns into this pocket or gets forced over into this pocket and then breaks back left and stays low enough to get under the ceiling is probably your best shot to give yourself a good chance to putt. So yeah, my second shot to hit the ceiling is like a 45 to 60 foot putt, and then my Explorer that was a little too early is like also 35 to 40 feet. Matt threw a pretty good shot though. He's circle one for sure. All right, so now we're at hole 5 to the blue basket down to the right. It's 315 feet roughly, but it plays pretty downhill, so it probably plays closer to like 260 to 275, I would say. Sets up well for like a righty forehand, but you need to make sure you put it outside enough because otherwise the green's pretty fast and it'll skip really right. So you want to put it way outside left if you're going to play the forehand. Also sets up for the backhand turnover. We'll try both.
I think Claymore or Steve?
There we go. That's perfect. Something a little more stable that I kind of forced over and then let it pan out. That's park. Love that. I didn't put that outside enough. It's going to skip way right.
Or
Yeah, I think that's good too.
Oh, I actually got like kind of a dead skip. So that's perfect.
How you get Matt's?
That's a great shot shape from Matt if it fades out.
Anyway, come on.
Yeah, that's perfect.
okay.
It's a great shot. All right, I'll give Dave credit. He threw a great shot off film. You want to try to reenact it?
I ain't got nothing.
Here.
Run down there and get my Steve.
I'm not running down anywhere to go get nothing.
I'll throw Matt's Steve.
There you go.
Recommends against running.
I'll do a comparison of what happened last time to what happens this time if needed. So imagine that same shot, but it turned more and it was under the basket. That still wasn't that bad though. All right, so now we're on hole 6, uphill to the right. Literal distance is 285, plays probably closer to 300-ish. Wide open left-hand side, so sets up nice for like a forehand if you have a power forehand as a righty, but also backhand turnover works. I mean, it's just whatever you got.
You ain't got nothing.
I don't think I have enough of a forehand to get up a hill 300 feet, but
I believe in you.
we're gonna try. The good thing is if I screw this up and like force it over left, oh well, I have an open approach shot for par, whereas if I throw a backhand terribly, I'm like way in the crap right and then maybe bogeying.
I always knew you could do it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
short.
Not real short.
Yeah, it is. It's like 40 short.
You probably make that putt.
Oh, Dave got shot. Man down.
Dave, where's that Rolo?
This looks like a great Rolo shot.
Jesus.
No! That looked like such a great roller angle too. I was like, yes! Corn Rolio. Oh Lord, that's good. Oh, never mind. She
God, it's
gone.
going that way.
She gone.
No, that felt so good.
It's a long roller though, just the wrong direction. Birdie Barnes. A little too much angle. Oh, it's
Okay.
skipped up there.
I'll have a look.
Yeah, so there was my first forehand, about 35, 40 short. All right, so now we're on hole 7. It's 370 feet. You can see the blue basket down there to the left. A little headwind, so we're gonna get some more turn out the Dustin than normal. We're just gonna throw a 7-speed Explorer down there. I think I can get there with this headwind and with it being so downhill. That just never came out. If it would have came out, I think I would have skipped up there. That is a good shot. That's still fine. That is looking glorious. Get out. Oh yeah, that's great. All right, so here's all the bunker trees further down the fairway. That's that front one. There's the one behind it I was telling you about. Then there's also this one on the right. Both my backhands just overturned and got caught in that tree on the right and never really broke back left towards the basket. So those are both pars. And yeah, that's about it. Definitely plays shorter than 380. It's got to keep that nose down, matching the grade of the hill, and just really read the wind well and get your angles right. And you should be able to get up there. Probably only takes about 300 to 310 of power to get to this basket with how downhill it is, as long as you get the nose angle right. All right, and so now we're at our second and final par 4 on the course. This is hole 8. This is 567 feet. Yellow basket way up there to the left. Really have as much freedom as you want on the tee. The more right you are, the more it sets you up for a backhand hyzer shot as a righty into the green. The more left you are, the more it becomes a straight shot or a forehand. So it really just depends on personal preference on where you want to be. As long as you aren't stuck directly behind one of those trees, you should have something, is what I would say. That's good. Yep. That's good.
What was that?
Roadrunner.
All right, so here's where my drive landed. I'm about 210 or a little less than 210 from the basket. So I got about 360 feet off the tee, which is pretty good for me. Definitely had a little bit of a helping wind, so that certainly made it a little easier to accomplish. But yeah, now it's just like a nice little chip hyzer as you play this right-hand side around these two trees. If you're on the left-hand side, you have to throw a little bit more of a technical straight shot to be able to get up to the basket, or play something really wide around the trees. But here, it just sets me up for like a pretty straight shot or chip shot. All right, so now we're on hole 9, 275, uphill to the right, that blue basket right there. Kind of just plays as a shorter version of a hole we played earlier. That was like 315 uphill to the right, but this is a little more tight. Don't have as much open space to work with. Yeah, that headwind's kind of killing us. Put some height on that. That was perfect. Yeah, that with height would have been where I needed to be. So yeah, here's where I landed. I just didn't throw it high enough. It's that simple, really. Dave hyzered out over here to the left a little bit from that Y tree. Matt's just turned over a little bit too much over there to the right, but still not too bad. Headwind kind of got us a little bit, and I just threw this just too low. So pretty straightforward hole though. Just got to throw something pretty straight. Really make sure you get your wind reads right. Keep that disc nose down up a hill. Matt almost hit a nasty long putt. But anyway, that's hole 9 for you. All right, so this is hole 10. It's a blind shot from the tee, but there's the basket right there, just downhill to the right. Tee's right there. It's not too far. I think it's like 225, 230 maybe. 238, there you go. But plays a little less than that because it's a little downhill. So here's the look from the tee. Like I said, it's a little bit of a blind shot, but the basket's not that far tucked into the right from the tee box. So really, if you can just play something kind of wide left towards those overhanging branches, like just to the left side of the road, and have it break right, should have a good chance at birdie on this one. I would say this is one of the ones you really want to get, kind of like hole 1, where just it's that distance where you feel like you should get it, and it's pretty open. That should be good. Might be too far. Yeah, it's deep and didn't really skip. So actually the pyro was better than I thought when the first disc got through. Actually didn't go far enough forward. Definitely want to miss outside if you're going to miss, because early ride to jail. A lot of space out here to at least get your par. I'm probably blocking the camera, but whatever. I made it. I know y'all didn't see it, but I made it.
You need to get your blue putter and the yellow putter when you play.
I did make that one for sure, 100%. Player B's nuts at putting. That's just the way disc golf is, man. All right, so now we're at hole 11's tee, and just to get here really quick, it's a little bit complicated. It's a little bit further than you would think. So that's the yellow basket we just played to. So you walk behind hole 5's tee and past hole 4's basket. You walk back up the hill, and then you're behind hole 7's tee, that long par 3 that we played earlier downhill, and then you get to here. And this is basically a blind spike hyzer shot. You're kind of throwing at this tree I'm zoomed into in the center of the screen. You're kind of aiming at that tree, and you just want something to break left hard. It's really not that far. What's the distance on it, on U-disc?
301.
It plays less than that, I promise. It plays closer to like 260. You can get there with like an overstable mid, or maybe even like an overstable approach disc. I personally throw a spike hyzer with like a felon. I'm actually gonna try to walk up here a little bit and kind of show you the basket, because it's tough. Like, you come up here, you got these trees on the inside left that you kind of have to beat to get to this tunnel that's kind of on the right-hand side towards that tree I was telling you about that I zoomed into. The basket, you can see it right here, blue through all that mess, but the way you access it is through this kind of wider tunnel here on the right, and then you spike in. So it's just a big spike hyzer, honestly, for a righty player. And you kind of aim at those trees I was telling you about and have it spike in. It's a tough shot, and there's a lot of different like little trees you can get caught on your way there. A little tricky. All right, so this is not the easiest hole to film, we'll say that. But like I said, I'm aiming for that like almost Christmas tree looking thing in the background to the left of that really big tree.
It'll be a pine tree.
Whatever, I'm not a botanist or whatever it is. That's what I wanted to do. That should be good, actually. I might not have pushed forward enough. Maybe I need a little bit more forward than that, but it got left enough and it probably skipped. But that's the line I was trying to hit, aiming towards that pine. I don't know. It kind of it's like triangular, like a Christmas tree. Are they both conifers or something? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Oh snap! Look at that. That's pretty solid from Dave. That skips. It's just there's like these little weird like trees when we get down to the green that you'll see that can catch those and just royally screw you. Also, this natural tee is kind of wonky. It's kind of bumpy, and you're like kind of walking uphill as you throw, so it makes it a little awkward. But it's a fun shot. You don't see this shot too often. See, I like the shape of that too. That still may not have pushed forward enough though. All right, so the tree in the middle is the tree I was aiming at to try to hyzer in on. There's the basket to the left where Dave is. This tree right here is one you can get caught on if you're a little early. You can get caught on that tree dead straight ahead as well. That's to the right of Dave. And then this little shrub also can catch some disc sometimes too. But we'll go to the green and take a look at where our disc landed. So there's the felon I threw first. It just didn't push quite forward enough, but definitely got left enough. Then the spice I threw got a little more forward, but not left enough. So yeah, it's just all about getting the angle just right to be able to get left enough, but still push forward enough and not catching these little bunker trees. But the first shot was pretty good for me. Definitely circle one putt for birdie. All right, so after the first 11 holes where we've mostly played out in the open, except for hole 2, which was a wooded approach shot, kind of hit a tunnel on your second shot. Now we finally start playing some shorter, woodsier holes on hole 12. This is just a dead straight shot. It's very fair. There's definitely enough room to throw a straight shot as long as you can keep it straight the entire way there. And what is it, like 254? So yeah, just a nice straight shot. And I will say it's like open enough to where you can scramble for par even if you get off the fairway. Like, it's not super jaily on either side. But I would say from hole 12 for like the next few holes, we're gonna be playing some of these like shorter woodsy shots to kind of mix it up a little bit after some, more open elevation change shots. That thing did not turn. It's a proxy. Why aren't you turning? Still up and down for par from there though. Didn't quite turn as much as he wanted, but that's still a par. This hole's pretty forgiving for par saves. How much money do these people have shooting off all this ammunition right now? That's pretty solid. Until I hit whatever the hell that was. I don't even know what that was. I'm so confused by whatever I just hit. Like I hit a root. So here's where that first proxy landed that I threw. My other backhand is actually more in the fairway over there, but just was too low and kicked left, but still a pretty easy approach for par. All right, so now we're on hole 13, just under 215 feet. This is kind of a trick shot hole, honestly. The basket, you can see, is like through all these trees that blew. You either can throw something kind of dead straight over the red tee, and right before it gets to that couple of pines, it just skips hard left towards the basket. Or there's kind of this weird little gap just to the left of the red tee that you could try to work something through, like some kind of, I don't even know what you would do, honestly. I think the easier shot is just like the hard skip left shot and just try to get around the corner. But as you can see, the basket's right here, just over the left side of this red tee, up to the left. So just gotta play the skip. This is probably the best way to go. That should be good. Yep. Yep, that's parked. Yeah, you kind of want to play something faster with like a really sharp edge that you can just skip on a backhand. Matt's still trying to make this forehand roller work. Actually, it probably could work with the right disc, the right angle.
Yeah, I just don't possess either of those.
I mean, it's a tough forehand roller. I think the backhand skip shot's the play. Or if you have something like that, it just kind of slowly pans out and flips up as it glides left. That was good too. There you go. Nice. So this is kind of the pine I was aiming at up the fairway, then having it skip left. And as long as you can just stay in this tunnel and skip left, you should be good. You can see my blue disc right there next to the basket parked. And Dave's is also pretty close. He just played more of like something slightly more understable, like flipped up and just glided the whole way down there. So that works too, I guess. I never really thought of that. I like the skip shot though. Another thing for navigation, after you get done playing 13, walk back up to the left to get to the next tee. Do not walk straight down towards the open. That's where some other holes are at. So walk up this way where Dave's going. All right, so now on hole 14, about 230 feet, you can see that yellow basket kind of straight ahead to the right there. From the tee, when you're a little bit more straight on, you basically have like a dual option fairway. You can either go up the right-hand side, which is the side I'm kind of showing center of the screen with a backhand and just have it fade left. Or there's a wide open left lane on the opposite side of this center bush that you can throw a forehand down and skip up there. So really dealer's choice. Obviously reverse for a lefty. Left side's a little more open, not as low of a ceiling, and it's just a little wider. But it's a little harder to access the basket at the very end of the flight. That's probably short. It's another one of those natural tee surfaces that are kind of rough because you're like walking uphill into like a pit. So a little bit tough footing, but maybe eventually this place will get concrete tees. Oh, baby. I was so lucky. Good shot by Dave. Can't really see it, unfortunately, but it skipped left. I think for my game, I prefer the forehand. It's a little safer. All right, so there's kind of most of our shots. That's the backhand I threw. I threw a little inside, caught the edge of that tree, and there's the forehand I threw next to it. Need to throw a little flatter so I can get down there and get the distance, but it's still putts. Dave's backhand. I'm close to the edge of circle one there. And that's hole 14 on to 15 now. All right, so hole 15, you just walk to this tee by going straight past 14's basket up a trail, then it brings you to this tee. Dead straight ahead, 240 feet. You just have to hit this initial gap between these first two pines right ahead of you, and then after that, should be pretty much smooth sailing. But obviously, if you catch one of these pines early, then you're in a little bit of trouble.
That's better. That's better. That's better.
Yeah, it's a little too left at the end of the flight.
Not bad though.
Put too much hyzer angle on it, but it wasn't terrible.
Let's do something dumb.
Nothing wrong with that. Nice flip up forehand. Heck yeah.
Ooh, that's
You didn't quite want that ground action you got at the end,
no, I did
but
not.
the flight itself was really good. That's the thing, like the hole kind of, because it does play slightly downhill left, it kind of wants to carry your disc down to the left. That's like the one thing you're kind of battling against, besides hitting the initial gap.
Ooh, that's looking promising.
good. That should be circle one.
Mm-hmm.
Might even be like close to parked. All right, so the one backhand actually went further forward than I thought and actually landed right next to the pin. And then that second backhand I threw with the proxy is right there as well. So both pretty good shots. But yeah, again, you just had to have that perfect amount of flip up to carry and just not carry too far left. But these trees can kind of block you and stop you from going too far. So that's pretty nice. Next tee is up to the right through that trail to an elevated pin. I'll show you in a second. All right, so now we're at hole 16. This actually is a little less than 200 feet. I think it's like 185. But essentially, it's a blind shot to the tee. You kind of have this diagonal pine. That's kind of your aiming point off the tee. I personally think the best shot is a backhand if you're a righty that flips up pretty much the entire flight. So something that's kind of understable that you put on hyzer angle. Because if you kind of aim it at that stump, let it flip up, and just glide down left past that little stump on the ground in front of me, you'll fly past that stump and kind of just keep going straight as you're flipping and get down to the green. And as you can see from here, once you get down there, it's an elevated pin, but it's a blind shot from the tee. But again, if you kind of aim for that pine I was talking about, something a little bit more neutral, slightly understable, let it just kind of flip up on a little bit of a hyzer angle out the hand, you can kind of glide down there and have a chance.
That looks good.
That should be fine. I mean, I might have got the inside left at the very, very end of the flight, but that wasn't bad.
No, too much. Way too much. That but better.
Should be decent too. Yeah, so my two discs landed right next to each other right there on the corner, so I just didn't get them forward enough before they hit left, and the basket's down there, so those would be pitch ups for par, a very risky birdie putt run on this elevated basket. All right, so the last two holes we're back out in the open. This is hole 17, 315-ish to the pin. Up there to the right.
Whoa. That did weird things.
Jesus, what the heck is that? Shooting cans out there at the range.
Throw it over. See, it's long to go get that, ain't it?
See, the forehand didn't turn as much as I thought it would, so I got caught on that tree, and I got kind of razzed by a dog, so we're going to use that as an excuse. I can sometimes get here with the forehand, though. Easy par. Unnecessarily risky backhand approach at Silafar. All right, final hole, 18, 340 feet. It kind of plays downhill initially, but then it goes back uphill once you're getting more towards the basket. So, is that like net neutral overall? Is that how that works? I don't know. You have a PhD in math here. Yay or nay?
We'll
Slopes.
just say yes for now.
Thank you. I have no idea how you would measure that.
I do, but I don't think your listeners want a math lecture right now.
How close to net neutral would it be starting downhill and going uphill?
I don't know. You'd have to calculate some derivatives and stuff.
Some integrals and whatnot.
Yeah, we're talking Cal 3.
Pretty good.
What?
I can mathematically say that was pretty all right.
like it. No! Oh! And so there's my first tee shot under the basket. Really good shot. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this video. I hope that you folks enjoyed it. If you've never gotten to play Colony before, I hope that this will be helpful to you, especially because this will get used for the Fairhope Jubilee tournament coming up after I post this video, probably a couple of weeks from then. Or if you're just here because you want to see some disc golf content, I hope that this new course was fun to watch. And yeah, without further ado, I'm going to say farewell. Hope that you'll follow and subscribe, and hopefully I'll catch you next time.